So there's a lot of stuff in this post. Shouldn't say stuff. There's a lot of questions, and I'll try to tackle all of these, but some of these are going to be generalizations that I give you for an answer. So first of all, as far as saying that you're seeing a loss in lean mass, that could be happening, but that could also be a function of the method you're using to estimate body fat. Another thing to consider is that um, typically body fat analysis tools separate into fat mass and fat-free mass, and water is part of fat-free mass. And so when you lose weight, or depending on your hydration status, you are going to lose non-skeletal muscle forms of lean body mass. And so when you're just looking at LBM, you could expect that to go down, even under situations where skeletal muscle is not going down. So that's one thing to consider. And so I wouldn't worry too much about that. But having said that, if hypothetically you were losing lean mass, or if we had a situation where there's someone that has been training for X amount of months and they don't feel like they're seeing any progress, the first thing I would actually look at is the programming itself, because the training stimulus is what drives adaptations to training. And so that would be where I would put my focus. Not to say the diet's not important, because it is, but if progress isn't coming along, it's likely training mediated. And of course, diet can assist that process. But so the first thing I would do is get on a resistance training program that has you adding weight to the barbell or whatever device you're using over time. So something that is getting you stronger, something that has an adequate amount of total training volume. To give you one example, you could look at Lyle's generic bulking routine called the Lyle's GBR. It's not me saying you have to get on that program, but that's a well-designed program for gaining muscle. Another thing you could look at would be something like strong lifts. There's a lot of investment to strong lifts in terms of learning how to do those barbell lifts. However, looking at how the program is designed will give you some insight as to how progressive overload works, or one way that progressive overload works. So I think you should start there. Get on a demanding program that has you getting stronger. And then as far as the calorie piece goes, if the goal is to gain muscle, and if you are not disappointed with your current level of body fat. So if you are okay with your current level of leanness, I would either set calories to maintenance or just slightly higher than maintenance. If you go higher than maintenance, you will likely maximize the rate of muscle mass that comes in. You will likely also gain some additional body fat. If you try to go right at maintenance, you will likely mitigate body fat gain, and you will likely still improve your body composition. It just might happen a little slower. There's nothing wrong with either of those approaches, and that's just kind of a general way to think about that. Let me know if you have any more questions. I wanted to add one brief piece. As far as how to find your maintenance, I don't think you need to run any calculations. What I would just do is take your current intake levels, and I would add in a couple hundred calories, do that for a week, see what your body weight does. Weigh yourself daily, take an average of that, and then see what your week-to-week average body weight does. And you can keep adding calories until you start to see a small gain and then back down slightly. And that's a fine approach to take, and it's probably going to be more accurate than any calculations that you can run. And additionally, you had asked whether you should eat the same on training days or rest days. I think that's largely going to come down to personal preference. I do think you could make some theoretical argument for eating a little more on training days, but I'm not convinced that that's going to be significant. And so I would really let personal preference dictate that first. See what's going to allow you to stick to the diet the best. Good luck.